This is Standard for Life. This is Raising Kingdom Standards. Prepare your mind.
Some of the most confusing seasons of life are the ones where you know you are called, but you still feel stuck. Where you've prayed, you've fasted, you've obeyed, and yet the doors haven't opened. The struggle hasn't lifted. The chains haven't fallen. Heaven has spoken over your life, but earth has not responded yet. Tonight, we step into a mystery many believers live through but fail truly understand. How can a person be anointed by God and still be born by circumstances? How can destiny be clear but the path be painful? How can oil be on your head while chains are still on your feet? This is not failure. This is not abandonment. This is process. And no one shows us this paradox more clearly than a young dreamer named Joseph. Chosen but betrayed, favored but forgotten, anointed but afflicted. Welcome to a journey through purpose, pain, and preparation. Let's step into Joseph's paradox and maybe understand our home.
You are listening to Standard for Life with Pastor Bright Akinyemi. Welcome back to Standard for Life with Pastor Bright Akinyemi. God bless you.
There is a mystery many believers don't understand. How can a man be anointed by God and still be born by life? How can heaven say chosen while earth says shamed? This is the story of Joseph. The oil came first. Joseph was just a boy when God gave him a dream of greatness, a dream of rulership, a dream where his future bowed before him. That dream was oil, invisible but real. Heaven had already marked his head, but listen carefully. The oil came first, the dream did not. Before the palace, there was a pit. Before the throne, there were shackles. Before the crown, there was slavery. Joseph had oil on his head, but shame on his feet. Chosen but betrayed, favored but forgotten, anointed but afflicted. And this is where many believers get confused, because we think if I am anointed, life should be easy. Because we think if God chooses me, doors should open fast. Because we think if heaven spoke, suffering should stop. But Joseph teaches us a hard truth. Anointing is not the absence of struggle. Anointing is not the guarantee of purpose in the struggle. Why God allows chains with oil? God will sometimes let your feet be chained so your head doesn't become swollen. Because the oil is for purpose, but the chains are for process. The oil announces where you are going. The chains prepare you for how to carry it. Without the pit, Joseph would be proud. Without slavery, he won't learn service. Without prison, he won't learn leadership under pressure. The chains were not punishment. They were preparation. Joseph served in Potiphar's house faithfully. Joseph served in prison innocently. Joseph helped others and was forgotten. Have you ever been there? Doing right but suffering wrong? Have you ever been there obeying God but life going backward? Have you ever been there carrying a promise while living in pain? That is the Joseph season, where you are anointed in the spirit or restricted in the physical, where your destiny is big but your current location is small. Then one day, the same prison that held him became a pathway to the palace. The chains didn't stop his destiny. They led him to it. Because when the oil of God is on your life, chains cannot cancel you. Pit cannot bury you. Prisons cannot finish you. They can only position you. Here is the paradox. Joseph was free in purpose while still bound in circumstances. He was already a ruler in prophecy, even while a prisoner in reality. And some of you listening right now, you have oil on your head. You carry grace. You carry calling. You carry destiny. But your feet feel shame financially. Your feet feel shame emotionally. Your feet feel shame spiritually. Your feet feel shame situationally. Hear this clearly. Your chains do not mean you are rejected. They may mean you are being refined. When Joseph finally stood before Pharaoh, he was not just a dreamer anymore. He was disciplined. He was humble. He was wise. He was ready. If God had removed the chains too early, Joseph would have reached the throne without the capacity to supervise it. So, God anointed his head early, but freed his feet later, because timing protects destiny. So, if you feel anointed but stuck, or constrained, gifted but grounded, don't cause the chains. They are not your handy. They are your training. Because when the time is right, the same God who allowed the chains will use them as steps into the palace He promised. There was oil on Joseph's head, even when there were chains on his feet. And if God did it before, He's doing it again. So maybe now you understand your season a little better. Maybe the delay isn't denial. Maybe the struggle isn't rejection. Maybe the chains are not your ending. They are your preparation. Joseph thought he was forgotten in the pit. He thought he was abandoned in slavery. He thought he was invisible in prison. But heaven was never absent. God was not late. The oil had already spoken, even when the chains were still tight. And if you are in a season right now where your calling feels bigger than your condition, where your dream feels louder than your reality, where your spirit feels anointed but your life feels restricted, take heart. Because when God anoints a life, He does not waste the process. Every delay has a sign. Every hiding season has purpose. Every shame has an expiration date. The same God who allowed Joseph to be born was the God who made him a ruler. The same hands that didn't stop his prison. The same hand that didn't stop the prison were the hands that opened the palace. So don't throw away your oil just because you feel the chains. Hold on. Go through it. Trust through it. Because one day, soon, what felt like chains will turn out to be a step into the place God promised you all along. There was oil on your head long before freedom reached your feet, and your story is not over yet.
You are listening to Standard for Life with Pastor Bright Akinyemi.
Please like, subscribe, and share. God bless you.